The Province Deputy Minister of Justice and Constitutional Development, John Jeffery, is hosting it. SAPS third quarter crime stats indicate that Delft is one of the areas with the highest number of sexual offences cases in the country. The programme will focus on the ongoing national fight against gender-based violence and femicide. SABC News reporter Atule Joka is there. We cross live to him now. Atule, very good morning to you. What has been said so far?
Well, a very good morning to you, Desiree. We are outside the Delft Civic Centre. This is where this Imbizo by the Department of Justice and Correctional Services is here to try and get those engagement with the community. As you rightly put it, that according to the SAPS statistics in the third quarter, Delft has the highest rate of sexual offences in South Africa, in the whole of the country. So the Department of Correctional Services and Justice is here to try and engage with the community members, to try and inform them about their rights and also the recourse that they might have so that they can get that justice. But with me, I do have Crispin Piri, who is the spokesperson of Justice Department and Correctional Service. Crispin, you've been engaging with the community. What sense are you getting, especially pertaining to the fact that Delft has the highest rate of sexual offences in the country?
Yes, well, we also can say that in this area we also have the highest rate of convictions. So nationally, the department, or the NPA rather, has a conviction of 76.5%, but in this area the conviction is at 88%. So our Tutuzela care centers in particular here are quite useful, and they're quite skillful in really ensuring that these prosecutions do take place. But we do have the Deputy Minister here who will be joining us shortly. And the message to this community is to ensure that we continue to report gender-based violence. Like we've said, we have a system that works. If we speak of a conviction rate of 88% on approximately 1,300 cases, it really shows that we are able to really tackle this pandemic in this area. So this Imbizo today is to bring justice services to the people and really encourage the people to use the services that are available in our communities. But also it's about unrolling the year of the community, and I hope as the Deputy Minister joins us, he'll also then unpack that aspect.
Oh, okay. And also what has been said is that the police do the work of nabbing the suspects, but sometimes the problem lies with the justice system, because most of these offenders, you find that they have other previous convictions or other cases, but they do continue to get bailed, and they also do not get like very stringent convictions. So people, even the Minister of Police Bekele was very irate when one of the suspects in the mass murder shootings that happened in Kaelich was granted bail. So there's been criticism on the part of justice and how they handle these cases.
No, that wouldn't be the Department of Justice. That is the magistrates and judicial officers who make decisions based on the facts that are before them on how an individual should be granted bail. So as the Deputy Minister joins us, I'm sure he can also then unpack that particular issue. But like I was saying, we don't have a problem of, we wouldn't say that bail falls under the Department of Justice. That is a judicial officer part. But DM can also then perhaps unpack how the new laws on gender-based violence deal with the question of bail and how we're resolving that from a policy point of view.
Crispin, thank you so much for your time, Mr. Jeffery. And also, you've been inside on this Imbizo, Deputy Minister. Just talk to us about the sense of what you are getting from the community. I was saying to Crispin that very often people are saying now the police are trying to make those arrests, but sometimes the matter lies sometimes with the justice services, with the fact that people are granted bail. Sometimes they are not convicted and they're not given those harsher sentences that the community would like to see. What do you say to those people?
Look, we need to, in the past, people would get arrested for whatever crime and convicted and punished, particularly poorer people, for crimes they didn't do. So with our constitution, it's there to protect the innocent. So it is for the police or for the state to prove that a person is guilty and that they must be punished. So that's the onus is on the state to prove that. But having said that, when it comes to bail, I mean, often people misunderstand bail. Bail is not a punishment. Bail is about whether the accused is going to stand trial or whether they're going to disappear, and whether they're going to interfere with witnesses. We have changed the law to put the onus on the accused in serious cases to show why they must be given bail, rather than for the state to be responsible for proving that they must not be given bail. So we have tightened up the bail laws. We have also tightened up sentences. We've got minimum sentences basically, and we keep increasing those number of crimes. But each case has to be judged on its own merits. Where there are problems, then we need to take that up and see what went wrong. We had a situation this morning. I read in Groundup that a case had to be postponed in the Khayelitsha Magistrates Court because there wasn't any photocopying paper. Now we're following that up. It seems there was photocopying paper, but we're still trying to work out what went wrong, because things are run by individuals. These things happen. Maybe just to add, and sorry if I'm speaking too much, when it comes to also with gender-based violence, it's more difficult to get bail. You can't get prosecutorial bail or police bail in serious GBV cases. You've got to wait for your time to be brought to court. That's to prevent situations that happened in the past where people, there was a protection order against them, and the state didn't know, neither the police or the prosecutor, and the court then granted bail. Now there's time to find out whether there is a protection order against them. In fact, you've got to disclose, there's a duty on you if you're an accused to disclose that there's a protection order against you. And if you don't disclose and it gets discovered, then you automatically forfeit your bail.
And also you've been engaging with the community here. I was reading the statistics earlier that in the third quarter, according to the South African Police Services, Delft has the highest rate of sexual offences. What sense are you getting from the community, and how are you finding each other?
Look, the meeting has been on for about an hour, so it's still in the speeches stage. We've then got the opportunity for members in the audience to ask questions, so we'll get more of a sense then. It is a very participative audience, so for example, on issues of people being turned away from the police stations, there was a lot of support that mustn't happen. So people have, it's been difficult there's been no real input from the community as yet. That's coming.
And before I let you go, what can you say to people as a form of recourse? What should they do? What are you bringing to them?
Well, when it comes, GPV is complicated because it's different from another crime where you might have a criminal gang or a criminal syndicate, and it's a particular group of people who are committing that crime. In the case of gender-based violence, it's men, it's us. It can be your father, your grandfather, your brother, your uncle, your son, who's actually the person who is committing gender-based violence, people who we're living with, who we're working with. So it's a broader societal problem, but I think the issue, particularly to people who are victims of gender-based violence, is to speak out, to look for help, to look for assistance. Report it to the police if you can. If you feel you can't, look for somebody else to report it to, a minister, a social worker, that kind of thing, so that the issue can be taken up. But it's also about how we bring up our boy children and even our girl children, because if a girl child is being brought up in a household where there's domestic abuse, then that's also going to colour their relationship with men.
And there's someone who leads at the vanguard of the society, which is the justice, the vanguard of our constitution. Which parts of the constitution do you think that they still need to be amended or tightened in order to make a safer place for South Africa?
The problem isn't the constitution. The constitution has a lot of rights, but those rights, the way my right to express myself can affect somebody else's right to dignity. So those rights have to be balanced. So I don't think, well, firstly, the Constitution is not cast in stone. It can be amended. It has been amended 17 times already. So it's meant to be reviewed every year by Parliament. But the issue, I don't think, is the Constitution when it comes to safety. The issue is how laws are implemented and how society behaves. The criminals in our society are not people who have come from outer space. They're people from within our communities. And we are unfortunately a very violent society as South Africa, more violent than other parts of the continent or even our region. We've got, all of us have got to look at making South Africa a safer place. We've got to reduce our anger, because we're very angry people. We get angry with each other and then do things we shouldn't do. Those are some of the things, but it's not the Constitution, it's the implementation.
Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot.
Well, that was the Deputy Minister of Justice and Constitutional Development, Deputy Minister John Jeffery, speaking about how people should not infringe on other people's rights while they are busy protecting theirs. But I also want, just before I let you go, Desiree, just to speak to the community members who are inside here, just to speak to us about some of the complaints that they have here in Delft, especially pertaining to the fact that you have the highest rate of sexual offences. Which other problems do you have here?
Good morning, I'm Zubaida. So we have a lot of drugs going around. We have a lot of rape cases. And
well, just because of time, Desiree, we have to end it there. But she did indicate that they have a lot of cases of drugs and rape which are engulfing their community here. From myself, Atule Joka, and colleague Pemzo Gufa, back to you, studio.
Atule Joka, thank you so much for bringing forward this plight of the people of Delft.